All right, so last unit of the course, so coming into week 12, and we are going to tie it all together, thinking about the recovery and sleep considerations that we want you guys to take away from this unit. That is kind of just going to make sure that you're, maximizing your outcomes and pulling everything together. So what we want for you guys on completion of this unit is to be able to understand the importance of recovery and know the components of recovery that we're working with and how we can maximize things so that you guys can get the most out of what you're doing with your training and your nutrition. And then we'll take a bit of a deeper dive into understanding the importance of sleep, why we need to sleep, I guess like how we can maximize our sleep protocols and our sleep hygiene so you guys are having high quality sleep. That of course is all going to, contribute to you guys being able to get the most out of everything else that you're doing, with everything else that you've kind of learned in this course. So we'll begin with recovery. So you guys are people who are, obviously in the gym, working hard, where putting a lot of energy towards the things that we need to do, but there's also like the flip side of that. So we need to make sure that you guys have enough time to repair the fatigue that you've kind of like put yourselves through during training sessions, after training sessions, making sure that you're, well recovered from your sessions so you can have high quality training sessions across the course of the week, across courses of phases. Just going to like decrease the risk of injury and give yourselves enough time to like repair and make the physical changes that we actually, want to happen so you guys can get the results that you want. So the major factors that we're working with when it comes to recovery is mental fatigue and stress levels, which we touched on in the prior week. So you guys can also go back to that and have, another read of that to unpack that a bit further. Nutrition, hydration, alcohol intake, pre and post exercise intervention. So, warming up, cooling down, some of the stuff that we've touched on previously in the course, and of course, sleep. So starting off with mental fatigue and stress. So we covered this in a lot more detail in the previous, what's the word I'm looking for? In the previous topic. So mental fatigue and high stress has been shown to decrease performance, decrease cognition, increase the rate of perceived exertion. So if we feel really fatigued, we feel really tired, even though it might be the same, load that we've moved in the previous week, and increases the risk of overreaching. So for people who want to work really hard in the gym, these are all things that are kind of just like, the total opposite of what we want to be going into our sessions feeling like. So if we're in a mentally fatigued state, we're kind of pushing our fight or flight response, and we run that risk of getting to the point of burnout. So like we spoke about last week, it's like we just spill over to past that point where we can't kind of recover from it. We just lose control, of alertness, and it's going to just affect our performance and increase the risk of injury. So just again, like all of these things that we really want to be managing and kind of like decreasing the likelihood of that happening is all going to increase when we're in a more fatigued and stressed state. Then we've got nutrition. So obviously what we eat is going to influence our fuel for training. Like it's going to influence the amount of energy that we're going into our training sessions with. From a physiological standpoint, like we want to make sure that we're promoting muscle repair and growth, like all of the things that we're working towards with our goals, like we can facilitate that by our nutrition and our diet. So we want to make sure that we're maximizing that, supporting our immune function, restoration, all these things from a health standpoint, and facilitate the adaptations from training that we want to achieve. So again, if we can work hard in the gym, facilitate that with creating the environment that we want from a nutrition standpoint, like, these are all things that we kind of want to happen. So pre-training, this kind of looks like having a source of protein and carbohydrates before to optimize recovery and performance. So we're kind of looking at that 20 to 40 grams of protein and 20 to 50 grams of carbs. Of course, this is going to be dependent on what you've got available to you in terms of your nutrition requirements. If you're in the depths of a deficit, you might not have that 50-gram range. So whatever you're kind of working with there, you'll play around with that based off your individual requirements. In terms of what to eat, we've got solid foods are best to be consumed 1.5 to 2 hours prior to training. Just giving yourself enough time to digest. Of course, this is kind of personal as well. And then liquid meals can be consumed 30 minutes prior to training, obviously being liquid, helping that digestive system break that down a little bit easier. Post-training, we're looking at another serve of protein and carbs if you've got the macros to be able to do so. In terms of timing, there is a window, like, we don't want you guys running within 30 seconds of your training session to get in your protein shake, but we are kind of looking at a window where your body does need to get that in for nourishment. repair and adaptation. So the window differs in terms of timing from beginner to advanced. As a general rule, eat as soon as you feel comfortable, and try and make that gap between your pre and post no more than 3 to 4 hours. That should say hours and not years. Years if you're very hungry. In terms of what to eat, so everyone's going to have different food preferences and appetite pre and post training. So as a general rule, post-training food should be rich in carbohydrates to replenish the muscle glycogen and should contain some protein to promote muscle repair. So we're looking at 20 to 40 grams again and 20 to 50 grams for carbohydrates.